My name is Lauren McCullen. I'm co-founder and CEO of Trommel. We're excited to bring to you today our new course, Sell More Parts Faster. This course is going to help you, as an e-commerce seller in the auto parts industry, get a better understanding of how to build and scale your sales processes. In this specific video, we're going to walk through some of the main foundational elements of this course. And it's going to help you understand why this actually matters to your business. Why does this matter for driving traffic? Why does this matter for conversions? And why does this matter for maintaining long-term customer value? Working directly with automotive customers, we recognize that there was such a need to have a better, more refined sales strategy. This includes, one, understanding what parts of your business are not making money. Sometimes that's specific SKUs that are not profitable for you, and other times it might just be an entire channel or area of your business, or maybe a particular customer base. And that becomes incredibly valuable when we're already operating on razor thin margins and already have a lot of risks that we can't control. So we want to take control of those things that we can. And this is really where we've recognized that for the customers that we see that are the most successful, they're taking the time to understand their customers, understand what's working within their business, and have that very methodical sales strategy that doesn't just focus on a transaction, but also looks at things like lifetime value and how they can continue to bring back the same customers over and over again. And as we see this happening with our most successful customers, we believe that there's a whole lot of other sellers who need to be implementing this too. They just might not have the resources. We recognize the importance of this strategy at Trommel. We needed to not just focus on anyone who is selling car parts online as our target customers, but really understand what the mindset of our ideal customer is, and who is it that we can most support, not just from a first 30 days perspective, but who are we going to continue to be able to drive margins for 12, 24, 36 months in the future. And being able to go through this program in Techstars was so profound for us and has been such a key part of our success today that we felt that we needed to bring the same content to the market and to the auto parts market. Amos has become a good friend of mine, the author of the book, and I had a conversation with him about hey, maybe we could actually apply this content. And being able to see one of our customers actually do this, one of our customers actually deploy this book to their sales team, and the impact it made, it felt the perfect complement to Trommel as a software solution, and also just a resource that we could use to give back to the industry in general. Because we recognize that if you know who you're selling to and have a strong sales strategy and then have amazing data insights on the back end, that's how we can run a really successful, prosperous business in this very competitive industry. The W3 is the model really used in the book Sell More Faster as synonymous with a sales plan. So a sales plan can feel very overwhelming, right? You might be picturing this 20, 30-page document, but really what's at the spirit of it, and the spirit of an effective sales plan, is understanding who you're selling to, what they're actually buying, and why they're buying it from you. So what is a W3 in the automotive industry? Well, there's all sorts of different ways you can be targeting customers online. We have aftermarket companies, or places even like Rock Auto, big brands that are selling hundreds of thousands of parts at a time. And that has some utility, right? You're a one-stop shop for anyone who wants to buy any car part. But that's not what we're all really doing as a business. Let's say that you are focused on off-road parts and accessories. So you're selling it maybe for Toyota Tacomas, or you're selling it for Jeep Wranglers. What you're actually selling in this might be significantly different than a part that you could theoretically buy from a different website. So maybe, again, let's go back to that example, that you're selling off-road parts and accessories. Who are you selling to? Are you selling to someone who's a first-time Jeep owner who really wants to understand how they can make some small modifications to their own car within their own garage? Or are you selling to a true enthusiast, someone who's already got that trip to out west plan and they're crawling every single weekend? Because if you're focused on someone who is an automotive enthusiast, what you might recognize is that there's a lot of layers to who you're selling to. And what they're actually buying may not just be that part. They actually might be buying a relationship where they can actually come back over and over again and get any type of modifications they need. And why you? Well, because you've got the warranties, you've got the content. They see the parts and accessories they're buying in the same place that they just booked a vacation for. That's a lot different than what you're gonna do if you're focused on just selling mass amounts of products on another website. If you don't actually understand who your W3 is, you may as well just be throwing things at a wall and seeing what sticks. And that's the way a lot of us have been operating for a while. But clicks aren't what they used to be, and it's getting more competitive out there. So you really have to have that refined understanding of who you're selling to, so they can see themselves on your website, so they can see themselves using your product in a much more specific way than what they're going to be at your competitors who are, again, doing that same strategy, throw it at the wall and see what sticks. No one's buying parts just because you have more parts listed. They're buying it because of something specific that you bring to their e-commerce environment. And this is definitely the case on the retail side where you're selling direct to consumer. But this is also the case if you're a manufacturer, even maybe if you're selling to other vehicle manufacturers, right? You might be a tier 1 supplier and you still have to use these same concepts because we only have so much time. We only have so much energy. Without understanding exactly who we're selling to, we're just having a scattered approach. We're creating misalignment among our team, and we're certainly not creating a path for repeatability. One of the reasons this becomes really important, especially if you are selling direct to consumers, is because typically you're going to be buying ads to drive that consumer to your page. That might be Google ads, that might mean a TikTok video, that might mean an Instagram post. But again, you need to know who you're focused on and exactly where that person is within their buying journey and where they are as a consumer. So are you focused on keywords that are mass search, like Jeep off-road accessories? Because those are pretty competitive and pretty expensive, and they're certainly not giving you a ready-made buyer. But you can overcorrect. You can be having technical specifications that maybe your new Jeep owner doesn't understand. But what they do understand is what it's like to be a new enthusiast and what it is like to be excited to say, yeah, I kind of want my rig to look like that too. So now we're focused. We have a refined strategy so you can use those long tail keywords that not only are going to often be less competitive, but also going to have a ready to buy buyer. And when they land on your site, they're going to see themselves on your site. They're going to have the language that they as a customer need to see as a new Jeep owner, as someone who is ready to make these next investments in their purchase. And then because they trust you and because you maintain that relationship, they're going to come back for the next purchase. That's how you run a profitable business here. A lot of times when we work with really scaling retailers, one of the things we hear a lot is about how they're not converting at the way they expected, right? They're driving website traffic there. Maybe even they have a pretty witty marketing campaign. But again, they've paid $1.50, sometimes $2 to get you to land on that site. But was that the right consumer? And do you have an experience that speaks to them? Because you can be selling the same part to many different types of people. Because even if you have thousands of parts on your website, your product is your website. It's the way that a consumer experiences it. And you need to understand what they want to experience. So if they're going to need how-to videos, if they're going to need to see pictures of your parts out on the trail, if they're going to need to see customer reviews, those are the things that you need to understand within your business. Because otherwise you're just driving blind traffic there and you're paying ads after ads after ads on people who are never going to convert. And even if they do, they probably aren't going to come back. Let's go back to the example where you're selling off-road parts. And maybe you started this business by just selling every off-road part you could, right? So you had tens of thousands of items on your website. But what you recognize over time is something about what you were doing was getting some newcomers. You were getting a lot of visits and purchases from people who were selling or buying your parts because they just bought their first Jeep. They just bought their first Bronco, whatever off-road vehicle it was. And maybe it's actually the people who are coming there to buy your Jeep Wrangler that are actually making the most purchases. Well, how do we speak to that audience? Because we certainly don't have a bunch of technical jargon. We certainly don't have incredibly hard to install products on there, right? We're focused on accessories, focused on something who someone can actually install in their own garage, even if they've never done it before. You also might recognize that these people want to have kits. They want to have bundles so they can press buy and have every single thing they need to do to potentially lift their car. That's a lot different than if you're selling to a mechanic. And it's those exact examples that are going to help set you apart from your competitors because you actually know who you're selling to. So if this is interesting and you want to understand how to actually implement this into your company, we're going to go over that in part 2. So if you're interested, like and subscribe below.